Hey everyone, how's it going? Hope everyone is well. Hello. Good morning for those of you who are morning time. We're gonna get started. I really don't have too much to talk about today. I'm gonna just quickly go over a few things that I'm watching out and then kind of take it from there. As you can see, I really don't have much pair that are flag, at least for the currency side of things, because I'm just kind of waiting for a little bit more development on some of these, and I want to see perhaps how today will go in terms of some FOMC news. I don't think the setups are ready, at least the way how I see it on a couple of dollar pairs, especially Euro dollar. We'll see how today goes, right? After news, after today close. Still got 2 more days till the end of July. So we'll see how that goes and then take it from there. 4 o'clock in the afternoon in South Africa, great. So let's get started. Now. Looks like a lot of you guys are joining now, so good job. Now, I mentioned I was in dollar yen position, but I have to exit because the trade reverses. Just secure a little bit of profit here for, I think it's about 0.5 or 0.51% here. It was running pretty good in the beginning. I thought it was running really good for this impulsive move pushing down, and I kind of was expecting maybe further correction to push the price lower. But when I start seeing during the Asia session kind of reclining up, and this is probably during around the time I was about to fall asleep anyways, and I saw this kind of a bullish continuation. So I moved, originally my stop loss was at break even, and I moved below this level. I put it about 0.5 or so, and pretty much during the session, and just kind of continue moving up, and then just tagged me out when I woke up. So just secure about 0.5%. Overall, it's okay. Didn't expect this to happen, but that's how we managed the trade accordingly. And we didn't see bearish continuation go lower, right? So it kind of shows you that this head and shoulder, or maybe this structure here, may or may not be enough to push down lower. So I didn't secure all the way to the bottom. Of course, I wouldn't know where to go, how deep or how long will go down, but I did manage to get out of the position for a little bit of profit, and then just move on. Right, that is how we do in trading. So I'm out of all the positions. I'm not live in any position right now, and like I said, I am watching out a few positions. So why don't we get started? It's you guys are pouring in now. So Matic, yeah, I will talk about Matic after I finish the first three markets though. So I'm gonna leave crypto to the end. I'll go over Forex, commodity indices, and crypto. But today I really don't have too much to talk about, so I should be able to get to it relatively quickly. It's 4 in SA and I just lost 50. Okay, and what did you lose on? So what apps do I use to journal my trades and forecasts? I don't use any app. What I do is I just use Google Drive. It's free. So I create my own journal. I made several videos on how to make a journal. If you're interested, you can watch them on my YouTube Go playlist. Intro to trading. There's a few videos on journal trades and utilizing Google Drive. There's 2 videos here if you want to watch. Now, basically, what I do, I just use Google Drive, so everything's free. People always ask me about the templates. There really is no template, right? You just create your own, right? In those videos, I explain very simply how you can journal your trades and things like that, right? It's very, very simple. You don't need to copy this word by word or exactly the same format. All you need to do is really write down things that are important, right? Like the time, what pair you're trading, what the price was, what was the result. Make sure you have some screenshots, make sure you have analysis, make sure you have a screenshot when you close the trade, and then a brief explanation of why you close the trade, etc. Things like that. Okay, I think that's the easier way to do it. Very nice. Okay, so let's get started now. So quickly, I'm just gonna go over really dollar index and Euro dollar. I will go over Bitcoin and all that. Okay, so just bear with me. I just want to touch over the ones that I want to touch base on, and then I'll jump back. Today I really don't have much on currency watch or anything like that, so hopefully I can get to other market a little bit quicker. So if we look at dollar index here, and I think we all kind of looking at what this overall price is likely to do. This current kind of price action right now is looking like very like a kind of a rising wedge or ascending channel, however you want to call, basically showing you signs of correctional structure. So basically what we really want to see is, are we going to get basically dollar weakness from this point forward? You guys recall my bias at the time was a dollar bullish. We talk about dollar gaining strength, and it continued got strength, but as you can see, once the move up, it started forming into this corrective structure. So what was once a very strong bullish move now becomes a more corrective move. So basically showing you that if this is going to be a big reversal, if this is going to be a big reversal for the dollar, then I do expect this going to be a reversal kind of price action. We talk about wedges, we talk about the overall higher time frame as well, that this can just be an overall kind of corrective structure for this move down. And we're at the top once again now, and this kind of a reversal structure. We're breaking out now. Let's see if we're going to get some sort of continuation and then basically push down the price to the low. If it breaks below, then certainly more downside is possible. Now, that is basically kind of all I want to watch out on terms of dollar. I don't really think other dollar pairs, from my perspective at least, I don't really see much opportunity. But I do like euro dollar because it's basically mimic or inverse to dollar index, right? This is how dollar index look like. Euro dollar is just mimic of it. It's just upside down. Now, but it's the same idea here, right? Because we have this kind of double bottom here. We have this similar kind of falling or descending channel, however you want to see this. And basically, you're waiting for a really strong breakout and continuation. I was looking at this yesterday to see if this is going to be some sort of correction, but it never become one. It kind of just pushed to the downside. So we're still kind of looking to see what will happen today. Now, a bunch of you guys were telling me there is FOMC news today. To be honest, if you guys didn't even tell me, I wasn't even aware of it, but it looks like it's just going to be consolidated here a little bit. Like it had a little bit of breakout, but again, there's no continuation that's pushing the price further. So how I usually do this in situation, I just adjust to kind of the structure, right? As long as it hasn't give me a strong breakout followed by a clear lower time frame correction, then I think the structure is still evolving. So I still let the correction continue to evolve. And we'll see if the actual price is going to have a really strong breakout and then look for continuation. Then this may kick off this overall correction. And if we look at the higher time frame, we're basically at the bottom here right now. We have this kind of descending or falling wedge. Bigger correction in the making, potentially correcting this move now. Now we have a noticeable few swing highs and few swing lows. This potentially could kick off to the next bullish run. But of course, first thing first is to wait and see how the lower time frame will develop in this area. And we'll take it from there and see if there's any opportunity to push the price up. Now, someone showed me a picture of this potential head and shoulder. I don't want to say if that's wrong because certainly that's a potential bias if you're looking at it this way. All I can think of it is that, of course, there's going to be different perspective on how this price could do. Now, usually a head and shoulder, at least the way how I see it, the left shoulder and right shoulder should be at least somewhat close together. It doesn't have to be right away like a parallel line or anything, but if you notice, this is a way more, the right shoulder here really doesn't match with the left shoulder, and it's almost the same height as the top here, right? We want to make sure the right shoulder is at least closer to the left shoulder, something like this, depending on how the structure formed. So to me, I don't really see this as a head and shoulder, but now, of course, certainly it has a probability of playing out, right, if you're looking for short. But I think the short is only confirmed if this price breaks lower and then continue after lower, right? So looking for short here, I don't think it's ideal because in this, at least for this structure here within the larger correction, doesn't give you a short bias, rather it gives you a long bias because it is a descending or falling wedge, so to speak, right? So that's kind of how I see a euro dollar overall, and I do want to see how this will play out in today or maybe next couple of days. All right, so that is really the only dollar pair that I'm looking at. I'm really not seeing too much other ones. You're welcome to let me know a few dollar pairs you're looking at, but really that's really the only dollar I'm focusing on for today or next 1 or 2 days or so. So hello. Nasdaq S&P, yep, definitely I will go over that once I finish everything here. Good morning, good morning. So that's euro dollar, really the only dollar I'm looking at. Now I'm going to take a look at another one that's euro Swiss. I think euro Swiss can have a lot of potential as well. Now I think we talk about euro Swiss for quite a couple of weeks now because when price made this drop down to the low, I mentioned about well, we're at the bottom here now. We're at the bottom of this potential kind of parallel channel or flag, and I do kind of have a bullish bias, a bullish reversal from this correction because seeing this impulsive move, seeing this larger correction, has a strong probability of playing out, right? So I'm basically very patiently just waiting to see what will happen in this bit of the area. If we go down to the lower time frame, it's better now because we're getting a little bit more structurally. We're getting almost like a kind of a parallel channel. I don't want to say it's descending yet because it's relatively kind of flat. So kind of a parallel channel, but I like how there is kind of a wedge or descending structure pushing the price down here. So we have a few swing highs and a few swing low now. And what I really want to see is either price getting squeezed a little bit here more, but I do want to wait for the strong breakout and then continuation correction. I'll either look for entry here or maybe an entry here, depending on what the price will form. But I think all of them are relatively valid in my view to potentially capture this bullish reversal, at least to the top of this structure here. Okay, so that's kind of what I see, and this potentially will work with euro dollar because they're both euro pairs, and if the euro gets strength, then euro Swiss likely can get strength from this potential reversal as well. So that is basically the only two that I'm looking at for today, or at least the next day or so, unless something else develops. No other pair really. I don't really see much yen pairs that are developing. I think they're all really consolidated. They're a little bit indecisive on a couple of these yen pairs, and I try to stay away from them. 4 p.m. there, good. Sorry guys, my nose is not feeling well. So, let's look at a few pairs you guys are talking about. I'm gonna go over really quickly here, okay? Reason being is I personally really don't see much else on, but I don't mind going over a few that you guys are looking at. Kiwi Dollar. Personally, again, same as weekly outlook. I really don't see much here because to me it's just in a bigger consolidation. This is all depending on how you're going to draw the structure. Some people draw it like this. Some people draw it like the way how I draw it. You can draw it like this, but ultimately, in my opinion, we're still in this bigger correction, right? So to me, I really don't see much of a price here. I mean, you can argue that this is like a descending structure. This can push up and go higher, or you can argue that we're in a bigger bearish continuation correction, that this can go lower. So there is no really clear direction, at least to me. At least to me, I don't really see much here. So I'm going to pretty much just wait patiently, right? This is very similar like Kiwi Yen, if I recall. Yeah. So Kiwi Yen, I think somebody drawn me this structure like this and asking me if this is going to be a descending structure. To me, no. I think this is not looking too much. I don't think there's much going on here. You can almost think that this is a head and shoulder, but really it's not either. It's a little bit messy, and this is why I kind of don't have any of these yen pairs on watch. But I think this last bit of the price is rather messy. Originally, I was looking at all the yen pairs kind of getting strength, right? Being bearish, continuation. But once the Kiwi Yen hits this bottom here, it had the secondary reversal. And this area of the latest price is really not that clear to me. So you notice a lot of these yen pairs, I'm just flipping through them. I'm not really putting any structures or anything like that in this area because I'm really not seeing much here. That's why I'm just staying out of that for now. Okay. Cat Yen, same thing. I really don't see much on Cat Yen here. I don't know how you guys are seeing it, but I see price kind of hit this bottom here and just had a quick bullish reversal. Now, I mentioned about on the higher time frame, this could be something like that, right? Could be developed into some sort of head and shoulder, but I don't think it is ready now, nor do I think the bearish bias is here. I don't see the bearish bias here. I see this as a really strong bullish push up, and I thought this would be a bullish continuation, but it's still kind of just consolidated here. I don't really see not much of a bullish nor of a bearish bias here. Okay, so again, choosing your pair, choosing your entries wisely, right? From my perspective, at least, I really don't see much here in Canyon. Aussie Swiss, same thing. It's similar like Euro Aussie, kind of like we're chilling in this area, but I don't really see much here once again. Like ultimately, the higher time frame looks like we could get something here eventually, but is it ready now or is it going to be ready? Well, it's a little bit hard to tell. I'm not really seeing much structure here at the bottom here. Even if you try to connect this, this should be able to make one more move down before it reverses. So I don't think it's ready anytime soon. Some people are thinking this as a more bearish move. Some people thinking this as a more bullish move. To me, I'm more neutral. I kind of want to figure out what's going to happen here before making a decision on that. Euro Aussie wedge, maybe. I did take a loss here on Euro Aussie. Remember, I updated you guys on Telegram, and trying to be a little bit more cautious with something like this. I want to just kind of be a little bit more on the sideline, figuring out what's going to happen here before making another potential entry or anything like that. Now, I don't see um, this potentially could be a top if the price continue to hit the top. That would be good if it has some reversal. But until then, I'm kind of just chilling to see if this bearish move is still valid to have a continuation. If this continue moving up to the top and then breaks the top and continue, then basically all of these bearish reversal is kind of voided because it doesn't. It's no longer bearish in my opinion once it broke the previous high and continue higher. So I'm kind of just waiting to see what will happen here, depending on if the price is going to hit this high before it reverses, or is it going to just consolidate it here a little bit longer. Either or, I'm not looking to enter anything, nor am I have a clear bias at this point. I think it was much, much, much clearer when it was just around somewhere like this. When I see a ascending channel, when I see a move up, reversal, bearish push down, and I thought this could be a continuation. But till now, because the price continued to climb up, then I don't see the same bearish confluence as what I once saw. And pound yen, I don't see much on pound yen, just like every other yen pairs. Looks like, again, we talk about how this move breaking out of this higher time frame structure here, but there is no continuation. Right? I think this is just a key is that this is clearly an inverse head and shoulder, pop to the upside, and then kind of just continue moving up. Some people are showing me that this is going to be ascending channel to reverse. Sure, it is a potential ascending structure, but it's not always going to be ascending channel, nor is it always going to work out, right? Understand everything is a probability. So if you're going to spot up, if you're going to spot like if you're going to spot price action somewhere on the price, but if it's not paired with, let's say, multi-type analysis, if it's not paired with other factors, then the probability of something like that is going to be lower. It doesn't mean it won't work out, it's just going to be lower, right? Remember, I talk about this in many of my videos. If you're going to spot some sort of flag on a 5-minute chart, right, like something like this, a 5-minute flag, certainly it has probability to work out, but people expect a 5-minute chart will take off like this, which is not likely to happen because they're not factoring the overall price action from different time frame and the overall trend, right? So something like this, always understand, like you want to talk about something like this as an example. This is a head and shoulder, right? But if you look closely into that head and shoulder, sorry, let me find that. So if you look closely into that head and shoulder here, isn't that there is a bullish flag here? If you really want to look at the 5-minute chart, this is an impulse correction, an impulse, right? So do you want to take a 5-minute chart here, a 5-minute flag here, and see that there is actually a head and shoulder, which is a reversal, and see that we actually just had an impulse correction, impulse, right? So all that you have to consider is you're always going to find price action structures and pattern anywhere, everywhere, doesn't matter what market, but is it enough? Can you justify enough to enter a position just based on one time frame and one structure, right? And certainly understand everything is a probability. So there's going to be a percentage of the time if you want to enter this, it will work. But is it sustainable in the long run? If you enter 100 of these trades, have you actually backtested this enough to see that this will play out more often than losses? And if that's the case, then go ahead and execute, right? But if it hasn't, if you haven't, or you're just looking at it because, okay, well, I think there is ascending channel happening here, and potentially this can drop down, so I'm going to enter. Well, then you haven't done enough homework, you haven't done enough backtesting to enter such positions, and in the long run, it won't be helping you. All right, so I thought I just want to talk about that on Pioneer because I thought this is important to bring it up because you're just going to spot price action everywhere. But are you going to enter every single flag, every single channel, every single wedge, every single head and shoulder? Not necessarily, right? That's kind of how I see it. So, EuroCAD. I don't really see much EuroCAD as well. It looks like that some of you guys are looking at this as a short. The short looks like, yeah, there's an impulse of reversal impulse. There looks like a continuation. Sure. But I just think that the overall bearish move has already happened, right? It dropped quite a bit already. That's kind of how I see it. And can you fit 3-1 here? Can you comfortably, does that fit your risk management plan or your risk reward plan? Just to sell down to the low because this is getting very, very close to this low here. So is there enough space? If there is enough, and if that's in your plan, yeah, potentially this could be a short, but I'm not really seeing much bigger structure around here. And I think the overall bearish move has already happened. So I'm kind of more on the sideline on this one here. To pay attention to candlestick as a form confluence, sure. That's certainly up to everyone's plan. But I do want to point out candlestick here is the pros and cons of candlestick, if I can say that is. Now everyone mostly use candlestick. I use candlesticks as well. But here's the thing is if you change it to line, then there is no candlestick. So what it was once a confluence with someone like a low test candle or something like that, low test candle like this, is not applicable anymore is if you switch it to line or if you switch it to anything else. So basically, not everyone in the world will look at the chart in candlesticks, right? Sometimes people look at it in bars, sometimes look at the lines, or sometimes something else that people uses, right? So if the ones that people use different than candlesticks, then whatever was once the candlestick confluence is no longer there because it's now becomes line, right? But I always say, but the price action, the impulses, the corrective, the impulses will always be there. It doesn't matter um, which of these you change to. So pound Aussie, I'm really not interested anymore when I see kind of this just continue moving up. I think there's a lot of you guys or a lot of us are looking at potential sell opportunity. And this is exactly kind of what I meant was when I see this consolidation, when I see all these move down, isn't breaking down. And I saw a lot of people kind of enter these sell positions and they're either hitting break even or taking losses. And I mentioned, well, I want to be extra careful now. I'm only going to be interested if we break out and then continue after, right? If it didn't do that, then there's really no entry. But I still get these direct messages that people enter here and they take a loss on, which is, and there is no bearish confluence yet. Yes, we understand that there is, ascending channel, there's ascending channel, we're in a larger channel. Everything is looking like it's supposed to go down, but you have to wait for confirmation of a breakdown, right? You can't just enter. Some people enter prematurely of these candlestick formations. Again, they're added confluence, but they haven't really pushed down the price, right? So sure, there is some high test candle or maybe some bullish engulfing, right? Things like a bearish engulfing or whatever, but there is no really strong breakdown for the price where that's going to confirm that this is a reversal. And while the price is continuously correcting here, I understand that this can go on indefinitely. So really entering here is not applicable in my view, at least unless price really breaks down and then continue afterwards, right? So to me, I don't see much confluence here in pound Aussie. I don't really see sell or buy at this point anymore. So hello everyone. How's it going? So if there's no other Forex pairs, I'm gonna jump to other things now. Let's take a look. Looks like a lot of you guys are asking gold again. I think I update this in my weekly outlook, and I kind of really not seeing much here. I explained this kind of a couple times already. I'm still holding a potential kind of a sell bias if this is going to play out, because ultimately I want to see a bigger structure here for the upside, right? I think most of you who are watching these stream regularly will see that will remember that is my bias or that is my view still. Now I'm really not seeing a really strong bearish push down from the price. You can see that after this impulsive move pushing down, I thought this can be a continuation to go lower, but it's moving relatively slow. If you can see, like originally this breaks down. I think everyone was looking for this as a continuation. That did not happen. It kind of just consolidated a little bit more. So be careful here because this can easily lead into something like this now, where it kind of leads into like a bullish kind of correction to go higher. So again, I'm not really seeing the bearish confluence or the bearish confirmation from me personally. Uh, I do want to see the move pushing down and then looking for a potential long-term buy, but I also need to adjust to what the market is telling me. So I want to be giving this another day or so to kind of see if this is going to be a bullish kind of price action to go higher now. So basically push down and then reverse continuation, go higher. Or this is going to be a continuation for the bearish move. I just give this a consolidation, a little bit more extra days, and then eventually drop down. So to me, kind of more neutral once again, right? You don't really need to have a buy or a sell bias on every single pair. You really don't, right? You can just be as me, where I'm just a little bit more neutral. I'm more fine to not need to have to shift into a buy or shift into a sell. I'm just going to wait for a little bit more development here before I make a decision or before I make a move. Okay, so that's what I see on gold. I see what else you guys are saying in terms of other commodities. Saw some of you guys got in on silver. Looks like silver is pushing down here. Expect kind of the same expectation of pushing down here. Same idea as gold, right? If this is actually going to eventually push down to the lower point, then obviously looking for the buy afterwards. But looking like it is moving down, and there is another correction here. I saw someone got in from here, and then we got in here. So good job on your part if you did that. Now it's basically just kind of waiting to see if this is just going to continuously drop down, correct, and drop down to the low here. Whether they stop at this low or this low, I think the bearish move is good. And once they hit the low, like I said, we'll be looking for probably a bigger reversal to the upside. Other than that, looks like someone is asking. Let me just quickly go back to Aussie dollar and Aussie dollar. Well, I don't see much here because this originally is looking like we could go down lower, which kind of push down, but it also kind of have a reversal push up. So if this is going to be some sort of continuation to go higher, then the bearish kind of momentum is gone, right? Now you can see this a few ways. Some people would see this as a bullish correction to go higher, while other people can potentially see it like this, some sort of bearish correction like this. So again, I really don't need to kind of guess what it is going to do. In my opinion, I think this is the time where it's going to consolidate a little bit more, whether or not it's going to go downside or low side. So if this is going to go down lower, I think a bigger correction is needed to go lower. And if this is going to be a bullish momentum, I think this is going to be the bullish continuation to go higher at least. It's very, very similar to Kiwi Dollar kind of we went over. It's in this bigger correction, and the lower time frame is kind of giving you two different perspectives, right? So when I see something like this, I'm just best to stay away from it, really. Of course, so many other people out there are probably giving you different signals on buying and selling. And if this is why you should have your own kind of bias when it comes to each pair, right? Because when you look at people on whether on TradingView or social media, you're going to see different biases, whether they're talking about buying or whether they're seeing selling, right? So who do you follow? Who do you actually listen to, right? So sometimes it gets conflicting bias, it gets contradictory. This is why I always urge everybody to make their own analysis and make their own decision. Following signals, following buying and selling is not going to get you too far because you're going to always get conflicting biases. All right. So let's go on to indices here. I'll do it pretty quickly here today because I don't see too much going on, and I talk about that. There is some news coming up later on, so we're better off to just be a little bit more patient here. I do want to touch base on the indices because I think there is potential something going on here. Now, for Nasdaq here, we're approaching to this top here, right? We talk about this higher time frame kind of structure. And I had a sell here from, I think it was previous week, got a little bit of profit and exit because price shows us a bullish reversal kind of price action. We're at the top here again, and I thought this could be a good reversal. It did reverse down, but I think when the what was I gonna say, when New York market closes yesterday, it kind of had this reversal and then kind of just moving up now. So what I was looking at this to see if this is going to be some sort of bearish continuation, but it looks like it's not applicable in this case. But I think as long as we're still in this overall correction, right? As long as we're still in this overall correction, if we see some sort of bearish kind of price action like this, I will still be looking for a bearish reversal, right? As long as the higher time frame structure doesn't change, as long as we're still in this kind of parallel ascending channel moving the price up, as long as price doesn't break above and then continue higher, then everything here is still makes sense, still applicable in my opinion, and still going to be looking for potential downside afterwards. Yeah, there is important announcement for FOMC. Yeah, exactly. So If you're not in positions, it's better to stay out of positions. If you are in positions, make sure you adjust your management, your stop loss, or whatever. Bitcoin, I'm going to go over right after all the indices. So that's Nasdaq. Okay, so I'm still kind of just waiting to see what some sort of bearish price action could develop here in the next couple of days. It's going to be the same with S&P and Dow Jones as well. So S&P 500 looks like we're consolidating here. We're hitting at this top, right? And remember, every time when I talk about these indices, I always mention my plan and my overall view is that as long as we're in this larger structure, as long as there's no clear breakout and then bullish continuation, then I still hold a potential bias of a sell. Now, the more consolidated, the more kind of corrective that this area, this lower time frame area is behaving, the better it is for us to look for the reversal, right? So this potentially is looking like there is a head and shoulder, right? Left shoulder, right shoulder here. So we want to see if this is going to be a reversal correction to push the price down and then continue lower and lower. Dow Jones, same idea here, right? We are seeing this as a potential top and price push to the downside and really recover almost like a V shape. But we're at the top here and you see there is consolidation. So consolidation, when we look deeper into this part here, again, it kind of looks like a head and shoulder, but like it's just a little bit awkward, right? But the idea here is you have a consolidation, you have a push up, push down, and then a push up, push down, and another consolidating here for the right shoulder here. So basically, it's telling you that the price isn't getting break above this area; it's consolidating, right? It's good when you see consolidation at a double top or a previous top on a higher time frame top. And if we zoom out here, this potentially is still a correction that is not finished. If we make one more move to the downside before the upside, this is exactly like how we have seen something like this before, where it does make one more move down before the upside. So certainly similar idea that you can expect from here, similar idea here. So kind of waiting to see what this piece of the price will do. If it's going to give you that bearish push down, I think the continuation would be nice. Something similar like what it has done before, right? These are really, really quick lower time frame correction to potentially get in and the price reverses. Now, I still reasonably believe, I think the move down to this low is very probable as long as we get some confirmation here on the lower time frame to push the price down. Okay. So that's Dow Jones. Any question here on the indices, guys? And then we're gonna move on to other things. Someone asked me about this, about news, about FOMC, things like that. Here's my take on this. Okay, here's my take on this. Now every trader or different traders will have different perspective on this matter. So I'm just kind of explaining what makes sense for me. So when people ask me like, do you trade through news or things like that? My answer usually is I will trade through news as long as it's not some major news event. When I mean major, it's like in terms of like Brexit, right? I don't know if people are around trading since Brexit time, which is 4 or 5 years ago. I was trading since 4 or 5 years ago. So for Brexit things like that, this is, let me just show you what Brexit is like. When Brexit happened, right? This is Brexit. Okay, so something like this, I think for most of the pound pair, it had a really big drop, about 2,000 pips or so in one day. These are the news I'm trying to avoid, right? These are major economic news events. Whereas typical, in my opinion, like interest rate, unemployment data, things like that, I really generally don't care too much. And in fact, I don't mind seeing that because that usually will push the price into an impulsive phase, right? So when you see this potential euro dollar move, when I talk about this move here, this is from FOMC. There was a news event here. I forgot when it was exactly, but this is when they release some news event. This is how the impulsive move has happened. So basically, if you're going to avoid news, like not trading the news at all or not holding a trade through news, potentially you're not going to capture the impulsive move. Now, obviously, there is pros and cons and everything. If you trade through news, there's potential to reverse, right? You might get a slippage here for a trade that's lost. That's certainly a risk that you need to take. But at the same time, trading, if the news event happen, if everything, your overall bias, your overall uh, trading plan, and your strategy align with the overall price, then it might be beneficial for you to trade with it, right? So I just want to give you a perspective on this because I've been trading for many, many, many years, and I always get this question about should you trade through news or should you avoid news as well. But I honestly think you should consider the fact that the news are going to create volatility, but it doesn't necessarily create direction to go against. So if you have the overall higher time frame and lower time frame bias, if the news event does happen, it might help you to push the price into your desired direction, right? So that's kind of how I always say it in this kind of case. Aussie Swiss, I think I went over that already. So re-enter Euro Aussie, I personally wouldn't, at least from my perspective. I don't think there is enough confluence here. I want to see what the price will do at this double top here, if there's going to be a double top. And the bearish move down, I don't really see this as a bearish continuation anymore. At least once it starts gradually moving up to the top here, I don't think that is as good as what it was once be if it's just chilling around this area. If it starts climbing up here, I'm not interested. Only when I see price reject a potential double top here and reverses, then maybe. But as of now, no. Aussie Swiss mentioned this earlier. I don't really see much here. I don't even see this as a structure really, unless this makes one more move to the downside, then it reverses. But it's similar like Euro Aussie, that I don't see much here until price, I think in my opinion, makes another top here to the top and it reverses, right? So whereas Euro Aussie, in my opinion, has a little bit cleaner price action compared to Aussie Swiss. It actually has a more noticeable kind of ascending structure, and Aussie Swiss did not. Okay. Um, what happened if I open both position before big news? The wrong one will be stop out, and I will make it back with more of the correct one. Am I missing something? Let me give you a few examples why you shouldn't do that. So I think I get what you're saying. What you're saying is you're gonna put a buy order here, and then you're gonna put a sell order like this, and you're just going to see which one gonna take you in. And if it takes you in one, to stop the other one, it should continue going higher or lower. So the one that takes you on a loss is a loss. The one that keeps you higher is a win. Um, I think that's just straight up gambling. I honestly think that's just straight up gambling your account. And I've seen people who done something like this where what ends up happening here. Let me ask you this: was that's a price push up, take you in this position, and then quickly drop down, right? So your first position is out. What if it drops down, take you in this position, and push up again? So are you just taking two losses here, right? I'm not saying this will happen every time, but if it's that easy, just put a buy order and sell order like this. everybody would be profitable in that case, no? Yeah, same idea. If you want to enter the same thing, it's the same thing, isn't it? You're gonna get tagging for both positions, right? So if you're gonna get tagging for both positions, what if the same scenario happens? You got tagging for both positions, and what if it just push out for a little bit before it resume? So you just take both of your position out before it resume to the actual direction. I think I already explained this enough. I don't really want to explain too much more. So let's move on to crypto now. So I made a post here about crypto last 2 days ago. I talked about a potential move that we're kind of looking at this area here for area to watch out for. Yeah, for area to watch out for is that I think a lot of people are looking for a potential bullish move. In my opinion, this high here is a very important part for the price to break above, and then continuation would be a lot ideal to confirm the bullish price. Whereas if it doesn't break the high and continue, a scenario like this could happen where price kind of just make a move up to the top here, but then reverts back down and then bearish move continuation, just making this a bigger structure to correct this move and go down afterwards. So to me, I want to be a little bit extra patient to wait for this to happen rather than just kind of jumping in here right away. Now, speaking of Bitcoin, it's funny when well, not funny, sorry. I was reading the news when I woke up today, and they were like, okay, they're saying 110 million short positions gets liquidated in one, and they got liquidated because of that. Now this comes down to again your risk management, your trading plan, and things like that, and obviously people leverage their positions. So when you leverage your positions but you don't have a good risk management plan, something like this can happen, right? So be careful on that. So my plan here is wait for a little bit of consolidation here. I'm not interested to buy here, but I will be interested if it breaks up, confirm breaking above this high, and continuation to go higher. That's going to at least give me a stronger bias to look for a buy. But just be careful if this doesn't happen, if it doesn't break above a bullish continuation, be aware something like this could happen, okay? $1.1 billion shorted that liquidated. Yeah, I guess that's the number. But that's what happened with leverage positions, right? People shorting, people over shorting their positions, or people over trading with their account. That tends to happen when people get greedy, right? So I mentioned about for crypto, you can always do two things, right? You can either trade them or you can invest in them, right? There's two different situations. Volume wise, I don't think of volume or anything, but I personally want to see this as a descending structure to reverse this price. And I want to see the breakout followed by continuation. If that doesn't happen, then like I said, this is a possible scenario that we could just push up to here, form a bearish continuation for this move, and then go down lower afterwards. So it's just being patient here, right? I already forecast all the possibility how I want to take advantage of this current price action. So I'm just waiting to see if this actually going to happen or not. If it doesn't happen, then no entry, right? It's pretty simple. I don't enter it unless I see the way how I want to see it develop. Yeah, so let's move on to a couple other things. I was looking at Binance Coin. I think Binance Coin could have something here. Now, what was once originally a really strong bullish move, right? This is a bullish move pushing up, basically reversed from this wedge. We have this bearish push down. Now it's forming into like a pennant or kind of a triangle, depending on how you want to call this. Really doesn't matter what people call this. What I'm seeing here is a potential correction and a potential bullish reversal correction rather than a continuation. So basically to confirm kind of the bullish momentum or the bullish bias is that this price should break up a little bit more and then give us a continuation kind of correction. That's going to help you to push the price higher. And that will confirm also that this overall structure here is going to be a bullish reversal after this bearish move down. It corrects here and then reverse back afterwards. So I'm kind of patiently waiting to see what will happen in this area. If it's going to give me a bullish confirmation and then bullish correction to go higher. I was in the trade in Ethereum. To update you guys in my Telegram. I was in the trade in Ethereum. I got off for break even here. It was looking actually really clean for a potential bullish run. It's just that after it broke up and I looked for entry, I had a really sharp move up and then a sharp move down. So I end up just taking a break even here when this move pushes up. And I thought this could be some sort of continuation to go higher, but instead it kind of become a reversal and a bearish move down to the price. So after hitting 1 to 1, or I think 1.5 to 1, and then hitting the previous high here, move my stop loss to break even as usual. And price just push down and then take me out here. Now I'm still going to be somewhat interesting because I like that it's breaking out of this higher time frame structure. There is good kind of bullish reversal kind of price action as well. So if it forms into a bigger kind of bullish correction, I will still be interested to look for another buy to the top here. I remember in the beginning someone asked about Matic. Yeah, I do like Matic, and I do like how this is kind of forming into a potential bullish kind of price action. We had this kind of a breakout. We almost had this impulse down and then a reversal impulse up. So, and this is an overall kind of bullish move, and this could be just a triangular structure that price is in. I think waiting for a bullish continuation here would be ideal to at least push to the next high here and see if we can reach the previous high as well. I think Matic is one of those projects where it actually wasn't too effective by the bearish move of the market. This is when all the crypto kind of crashed, and then it had a kind of a reversal and it falls into this correct little structure. But this last bit of the price is good because it kind of pushed down to reverse up and kind of potentially forming a bullish continuation. Other than that, I don't see too much else on crypto, unless you guys have anything you want me to take a look at quickly. But other than that, I'll go back to anything that I missed earlier. If any pairs that you guys want me to take a look one more time, I can certainly take a look. Euro dollar moving a little bit. Sure. But I do, for me personally, I need to see kind of a strong breakout continuation, right? I haven't seen that yet. I was looking at this yesterday, if this is going to be a continuation, but that did not happen. So, wanted to see if all these move that's happening right now in this period of time, it looked very, very similar to kind of this period when from the previous move that goes down. So, I'm kind of anticipating similar things could happen. Like we might see a breakout and then a continuation, and then maybe on next week, right? Maybe this push out for the price is from today's news, and next week, different news event or different things happen, and we can potentially push up the price higher. But this is all speculation. I don't know how the market will react to the news or anything. So, but that's kind of how I want to see euro dollar in the upcoming, weeks or so. I do want to see this potential move playing out. I missed this question. If U.S. interest rate remain the same, how does this affect the FOMC? Who would ever know, right? I mean, this is all about what news people. This is why news is puzzles people sometimes because sometimes you can have a positive news and sometimes you can have a negative news. It's not always going to strengthen or weaken the currency, right? That's just how it is sometimes, right? So sometimes if a positive news comes out for a currency and then you see that currency drop and you're like, why does that happen? Well, that happens sometimes, right? Because news is very irrational. It doesn't necessarily mean the market has to go with the positive news result. It could certainly move the other one direction because sometimes the price is already priced in. There's already a bunch of orders filled, and the news basically just pushes it, right? So I'm definitely gonna watch your video. First day here, change your perspective in 5 minutes. So I hope that's a good thing, right? We appreciate that. Um, Euro Swiss. Yeah, so Euro Swiss, I'm basically kind of looking to see if we're going to get a bullish reversal from this kind of overall price action here, right? I've been talking about this for quite a bit of time. Now, it all depends on if this is going to give us a bullish reversal price action to go higher. If we go down to the lower time frame here, you can see there's a few swing highs and few swing lows. See how the price moved down like this is not going to tag me in any position, right? We're just waiting for a strong bullish reversal and bullish continuation. That is something that I will get involved, or if it breaks above this current correction here, I think there's another potential entry. But unless these conditions happen, or at least these conditions are met, I don't see the potential entry, especially something like this, right? Because we understand that this can be overall still a bearish move down. And who to say that this wouldn't be a bearish continuation to go lower? If it does go lower, then you move on to other opportunity, right? It's very simple, right? You don't need to marry to your analysis. You don't need to be like, well, I was thinking about long, so I need to only look at long possibility. Not necessarily, right? You have to adapt to what the market is doing. So if the market showing you that potential bearish continuation, then let the price continue to go down and lower, right? And you don't need to try to catch the bottom here and try to think, okay, well, this should reverse, then why isn't it reverse? Well, it's not reversing, right? So we just move on. But when the time it actually does play out, if the move does play out, then you're ready to capture that potential move. Okay. I bring this up because I get this question a lot when I, talk to traders or coach them, whatever. I find that traders always have to be like, well, but the bias here is long. Yeah, the bias here is long. I agree that the bias here is long, but that doesn't mean the market needs to play out exactly how you want it to play out. Okay, I think this is the most important part about trading psychology and things like that is because people often think, well, whatever strategy they use, I think most strategy out there are great. Uh, it's not the strategy's fault that the people are losing in trading. I think it's the trader themselves, right? So are they following their strategy to the teeth? Are they executing only if certain conditions are met? Right? Sometimes they prematurely enter trades or prematurely enter positions when the market hasn't given them the confirmation yet. So that happens from time to time. And again, don't be married to your analysis because if the market starts changing, then you need to adapt. You need to see this as a push down correction. It's pushing lower now. So basically, it voids everything we talk about for weeks now, and that's fine, right? And we move on because we didn't lose any money, we didn't lose any trades. We move on to other opportunities, right? That is how trading is. Right? It's never going to be easy like what you see on social media, right? That's just always the message I'm trying to deliver to everyone. If trading was easy, why do 95% of traders fail over time, right? If copying signals, copying other people to trade is easy, then why do traders still fail? If there is some, 100% win rate strategy or 90%, usually those people out there promote themselves to be so good and they say their strategy is so accurate, then why do people follow them still loses? Right? So start thinking about what's realistic and things like that, right? Trading is not easy. right? But if you get the hang of it, if you understand, if you have a trading plan, you have very, very good risk management, you have a good trading psychology, you control your emotion, you understand you're not here to, make money quick or get rich quick, whatever. You have a very good system in place, then your trading account will grow in time, right? But if you're here to try to double your small account, over leverage, over trade, revenge trade, then you're surely going to join the most of the percentage of people who lost money in trading, right? So that's my really honest opinion, right? After trading for 8 years in trading, that happens. So, all right. So, been talking about an hour already. I don't really see much other opportunities. I think I went over all the pairs that you guys are requesting. I do want to see any last minute question or last minute pair that you guys want me to go over. I can certainly take a look. But like I said, I'm only really looking at Euro Dollar and Euro Swiss for currency. Not seeing much on the commodity side of things. Kind of waiting to see what happened to gold. Indices, indices. I am more biased. Like my bias is short, right? I'm looking for a potential development. As long as they are all in the structure that they're currently in, and as long as they're not like impulsively breaking out followed by bullish continuation, then my bias here is still a potential sell. And other than that, crypto, like I mentioned about Bitcoin, kind of looking to see about this level here, and that's about it. Someone asked me about videos. Yeah, I do these videos all the time, my friend. It's all my YouTube videos. You can watch all my videos. It's all free. You can watch as many price action structures and patterns is all in this playlist. Risk management, trading psychology, all my workshop videos. This is probably the most watched ones out there. So you basically learn everything. These are hours and hours long. It's all up here. Um, I've shared all my ideas on TradingView, so you're welcome to read them and watch them. And all my streams are saved as well forever on TradingView and on YouTube as well. And I update everything in my Telegram, all my analysis, trade I enter, educational lessons, and things like that. It's all in here. Okay. Thanks for your live stream. Keep it. Yeah, enjoy it. Thank you. I appreciate that. Gold and Kiwi Yen. I went over gold earlier. I don't see much on gold because I kind of want to see what this last bit of the price will do. I mentioned earlier that you could kind of see this as two different scenarios. Like this could be a potential bullish price action to go higher because it's looking like it's kind of like a flag to go higher. But personally, I'm more favored towards a sell, or at least I want to see the price push down. I might not enter this sell, but when the price does push down to the low here, I will be looking for a long-term buy to the top. So all that left now is kind of looking to see if this price action here on the lower time frame is it going to be a bearish continuation to go lower, or is it a possibility of this as a bullish flag now? To me, I'm more leaning towards a bearish kind of continuation, but it's a little bit consolidated, so we're gonna have to wait and see if it's going to develop into a bearish move and push the price down. So that's gold. Kiwi Yen, I don't really see much here. I think I went over this earlier as well. After price pushed down, hitting this previous low, it just did not continue to go lower. It had this kind of a reversal impulse. So few of you guys, you can either draw it like this or you see this as an inverse head and shoulder. I try to leave it as that. I don't really see I want to say I don't really see a clear structure here. So when I don't see a clear structure, I kind of wanted to just wait a little bit longer. Now, it was once looking pretty clean, in my opinion. This is kind of what I was looking at time, impulse correction, and impulse down. But the reversal impulse is kind of throwing me off a little bit, and because it didn't continue lower, so I kind of want to just adjust and wait for a little bit bigger development here. That's all. You're welcome, Victoria. Appreciate your support as always. Pound Aussie went over this earlier as well. I don't really see much either because originally we were all looking to see if there's going to be a short sell, but because this price just continue moving up, there really isn't any sell opportunity, right? I think most of us are probably looking for a sell, whoever trade in terms of price action or this type of method. Um, you're looking for a sell, but the sell didn't play out, right? So by entry at the top here, when there's no confluence, I think it's too prematurely, right? I always talk about wait for the price to break out, wait for a first continuation. It's going to give you a better entry or a safer entry, so to speak. Whereas entry at the top here, if there's no bearish reversal yet, I kind of like take it off for no reason here. So, okay, so I don't see any bias here. What was originally a pretty potential sell is no longer valid if this is going to be some sort of bullish continuation followed by after to push higher. And I don't like to see that either. All right. So if there's any last minute question from me, I think I went over everything now. Any last minute question from me before I wrap it up the stream? Again, I think there is a news event coming up later, right? So be careful if you're in any positions or if you're planning to enter, as long as you be aware of the potential risk. Other than that, just looking at the last week of July and see any other opportunities that may arise from, and then the only thing that I see is Euro Dollar and Euro Swiss. Okay. Hey, you're welcome sharing the knowledge. I answered this question earlier, my friend. If U.S. interests remain the same, how does this affect FOMC? You really wouldn't know, right? You wouldn't really know if that's going to affect the currency or not, if it's going to move it up or move it down. You really cannot predict. That's why it's why people befuzzle news, because sometimes when there's a positive news event come out, the currency doesn't move. Or if sometimes there's a negative if news come out for the currency and the currency actually strengthen. So there is really no a set result or a set outcome of how the news will be. Sometimes the news can be negative and it helps the currency. Sometimes the news can be positive and it actually decreases the currency. So that's honestly, for my opinion. You can certainly do a little bit back testing on your own. Look back all the previous FOMC news event and see the result and see how the market plays out, right? So, okay, everyone. So I think I'll be done here. Any additional question, you're welcome to message me in my Telegram or private message me in my channel if you want to. And I shall see you guys all next week or next month, so to speak, because next month, it's August 2nd for my weekly outlook. So I'll see you guys on August. By the end of this week, I will have my weekly trade recap videos. I will have my journal for the month of July. I think July I'm doing, if I'm correct here, I think I'm up about 6% this month. So I'm basically hitting my average of about 6 to 7% a month. So that is my plan. And I will update the journal to everyone. I will also share some good feedback or testimonial from people that I speak to for this month, as I always do. Anything else, like I said, message me, and then we'll see you all next month. All right. Thank you very much.